Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Build your army decks, dominate opponents in player versus player action, collect and upgrade cards to fit your strategy, improve their power and unlock unique traits. Choose from all 40k factions, take part in campaigns based on iconic 40k battles, rise to the top of the leaderboard and win glory. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this Tactica video. It's for Adeptus, Mechanicus, Kataphron breaches, and then we'll also cover Kataphron destroyers as well. There's the two options that you can go for, the two options that you can build from the same kit. I've been working on a unit of 6 breaches and amazing models. Very happy with the unit. They're going to play quite a vital role in my revamped Adeptus Mechanicus list. So they haven't taken too long to paint. We'll look at the models first of all, and then the point of these videos is to a showcase video, chance to look at the models. They'll talk about the rules, maybe even roll up some dice as well towards the end, just to give you an idea of how these can work. I'll discuss sort of the different options you can go for, because there's different loadouts that you can take with these, different size units as well. And we'll also cover one of the Vigilus formations that you can take to really enhance this unit. But here they are. Painting unit 6, you get them in a box of 3, so 2 boxes gets you 6. You can go bigger, you can go for unit 9 if you wish. So heavy arc rifle is the configuration. I've gone the arc claw, I think it's called. That's the option that I've gone for there. I'll zoom in. These aren't quite finished yet, but they virtually are. There's a tiny little bit of work left to do, and I'm going to zoom in and we'll let you take a closer look at this unit. So let's just give you an idea of how they look. Little tankettes. I think they're fascinating, brilliant models that Games Workshop have sculpted. So you've got your infantry, you've got your tanks, but then you've got these things in between, and I mean the detail on them is fantastic. So a little bit more work to do, a little bit more work to do on the cream armour here and the face, but other than that this model's pretty much finished. I'm very happy with the result. Standard colour scheme I've gone for these, so to match the rest of my army, so the Drukhari style. So there is a full painting tutorial for the AdMech on the channel here on YouTube, so you can check that out. It's a few years old, but you'll be able to look it up in the painting tutorial section of the channel, and that'll show you from start to finish how to paint up my AdMech, specifically the infantry. So I think it's one of the Drukhari ranges that I paint up. So I'll just grab, here's one of the snipers, but it's that colour scheme there. So if you like the look of how that's come out, there is a complete step-by-step guide here on YouTube. And then to match more with this colour scheme, the darker red, there is an in-depth painting tutorial on the Plus channel. So I show you how to paint one of the Onaga Dune Crawlers, one of the bigger, more daunting units to paint, and I go from start to finish how to paint that, cover things like transfers and weathering and chipping effects and so on, how to do the base. This grey base you see there is covered in that video as well. So that's over on the Plus channel. So you can subscribe to the Plus channel, or you can rent or buy that individual video if you want. If you just want that particular guide, then it is available for individual purchase or rent. But there he is, and I think they're a brilliant addition here. And even when we do Apocalypse games, the AdMech are involved. It'd be great to have a unit of these on the board as well. So there they are, and they are big. I mean, these bases are big. They're a big presence on the battlefield for sure. Notice the difference with my revamped AdMech force these have, and that's a unit of 6. That's all a decent size. As I said, you can go for a bigger unit if you wish. So they are a popular choice amongst AdMech players for sure. We'll cover the unit and then we'll talk about a few enhancements and things that you can take to improve them. So when I looked at these, I was lacking, I wanted a little bit more firepower and a bit more resilience in the army. My infantry get blown away very quick, and so I wanted a unit that was a bit tougher. And these can be very, very tough indeed. And the great thing about them is they are actually a troops choice. Yeah, if you go for breachers or destroyers, they're actually troops. So now the option here for the AdMech is to have a very solid unit that is actually a troops choice as well. So it's great for holding on to objectives and so on. So you're looking at a solid choice and the troops option as well. And when I made room for these in my army, I dropped one of my regular troops choices, one of the Vanguard units, I think one of the Ranger units. That freed up some points, and then was able to use some of those points to help pay for this unit. I wasn't losing troops, wasn't losing the structure of my army. I wanted to keep a double battalion. I was able to continue to do that because they fulfill one of the troops slots that's required. So power level 8 for these. I'll give you the latest. I keep a record here of the latest points updates. So Kataphron breaches are 20 points each now, and the destroyers are 15 points, but the destroyers are going to end up paying a bit more because of the war gear that they take. But it starts at 20 points, then you add your war gear on top. So for breaches, movement 6, so they're not slow. They are a bit slow when they advance, but your standard movement's still 6 inches, so that's really good. Weapon skill 4+, ballistic skill 4+, just average. Strength 5, and here's the toughness, toughness 5, 3 wounds. They actually get 3 attacks, which is excellent, you know, for a sort of servitor type unit. Leadership 7, and a 3+ save. So immediately one thing I'll mention is your canticles. If you're able to get Shroud Psalm here, and I use the Mars Forge World, I have Belisarius Call, so I'm able to get 2 rolls on this, and I'm able to adjust the dice rolls by +1 or -1. So 2/3 of the time, most of the time I'm getting Shroud Psalm. And that's great for these, because that's going to bump them up to a 2+ armor save. So excellent. And if you're able to put them in cover, keyword here is infantry, so infantry in cover, or inside a crater even, they'll get the benefit of cover, and again it'll grant them a 2+ armor save. 2+ armor save potentially, 3 wounds, toughness 5. They're a very, very tough unit indeed. So excellent resource to have here. So the minimum size is a unit of 3. You can take up to 6 Kataphron breachers or up to 9. So you can go the maximum out to a unit of 9. Each Kataphron breacher is armed with a heavy arc rifle and arc claw. I suppose you've got to watch out for morale a little bit. If they suffer heavy casualties, morale might be something to watch out for. Leadership 7. So I've gone for the heavy arc rifle and the arc claw. It's the cheaper option, and I still rate both of those weapons. I was looking for a bit of anti-tank, a bit of anti-heavy infantry. That was what I was looking for. With these, you pick and choose your configuration depending on what you need in your force. So I'll just give you the points values here. The heavy arc rifle is 6 points. Very, very cheap. And the arc claw is just 4 points. So you're looking at 30 points a model here. So 180 points to that unit. Nicely below 200 points. Very solid, very tough unit. So they're great value for points for sure. So they benefit from canticles of the Omnissiah, Shroud Psalm for example, and so on. They have a 6+ invuln save, so that's pretty much across the board for AdMech, so it's worth remembering the 6+ invuln save. And they are restricted when they advance, so heavy battle servitor. Models in this unit do not suffer the penalty for firing a heavy weapon after moving. That's excellent, so they're able to move, and they're not going to drop to a 5+ to hit with their shooting, so that's excellent, but they can only advance D3. But really, yeah, I don't use these. I don't want to use these as a unit that needs to be somewhere quick. You know, if they are going to move, it could be a steady advance, firing as they go, and so therefore that restriction for advancing isn't that much of an impact at all. Really, it's that firepower, and half the time we're happy to sit where they are, maybe on top of an objective, and just let loose with their firepower. So the heavy arc rifle, range 36. So immediately, it's an excellent range. Range 36 is brilliant. Heavy 2, so 2 shots each. I get 12 shots this unit here at 4s to hit, so I should get 6 hits against the target, whatever it is. And then strength 6, so you know it's always going to be 5s against vehicles. Unless it's a very light vehicle, it's going to be 4s. and then AP -2. So you're gonna, that's good. It's gonna bite off a bit of the armor save, which is very helpful. I would say actually strength 6 very useful against heavy infantry. So toughness 4, toughness 5. It's going to be that 3s to wound. So you're fighting against plague marines, for example. Very decent strength there. So it's good. The damage is D3, whatever the target is. If it's a vehicle, and this is why I want a little bit of an anti-tank sting. If you do go against a vehicle with these, damage is increased to D6, and you might be able to pull out a bit of a surprise, hit the opponent's vehicle with a number of hits, and then get a couple of 5s or 6s, and then all of a sudden the damage is D6. It's pretty potent. And there's some units in 40k that you position them, you fire, and you expect a result. This isn't one of those units. This unit here I expect to just do some damage each turn, and then just endure and survive and just keep kicking out that firepower. Same for the Onager Dune Crawlers. This unit here, I don't expect these to be deleting whole units and devastating their firepower, but just to keep chucking out the shots every turn, just grinding away at the opponent, and able to absorb the damage better than the opponent does with their units. That's the idea. So I'm expecting average firepower from these, but average firepower every turn. And so that works out to be pretty good. So the other option you can go for, the torsion cannon. Remember, the heavy arc rifle is 6 points. You can go for the torsion cannon, but that's 15 points, so almost treble the cost. But for that you're getting range 24, so that the range is less. You get 1 shot instead of 2, but it is strength 8 -4 and then D6 damage. I think value for points is the heavy arc rifle. Better range, you can still do decent damage against vehicles, and getting more shots. So if you have to fire against heavy infantry, it's not just a 1-shot weapon but 2. So I'd rather take 12 shots of these than 6. So that's the reasoning. Then you could go for, you may replace the arc claw with a hydraulic claw. The hydraulic claw is 5 points, so just 1 point difference, and that gives you ×2 strength, AP -1, and D3 damage. When attacking this weapon, you must subtract 1 from the hit roll. So it's -1 to hit roll. It's going to be 5 to hit in close combat, but it is strength 10 when you fight. AP -1 and D3 damage. Hydraulic claw is probably pretty good actually. So a decent enough weapon for sure. I suppose it just depends if you want to trade off that -1 to the hit rolls. So that's them. If you go over to destroyers, I was thinking, which ones do I go for? What's the plan? What's the idea? There's good options here. You've got the breachers, but with multiple loadouts you can go for. Kataphron destroyers, again, different stat line here and different configurations you can go for. I chose to go across here, the cheaper option. But decent enough war gear. But the Kataphron destroyers, power level 10 for these. We saw they're 15 points. Again, you can go for the same kind of sized units, and the standard loadout for these is a plasma culverin and phosphor blaster. The emphasis more is with firepower with these. So what I would say is the emphasis is firepower, because you get less attacks, so you get 2 attacks, and your save, quite crucially, is only a 4+. So looking for durability, I went with a 3+ save here, potentially 2+. That could be improved to a 3+, but I like that save there for durability. So 4+ save, still get the 6+ invuln save, still the same restrictions for the heavy battle servitor. There's no minus when you move and fire heavy weapons. Still get canticles. So a plasma culverin is 27 points. That armor upgrade's almost the entire cost of one of these with all of its war gear. So 27 points, but it's a decent weapon. When attacking with this weapon, you choose one of the profiles below. So you can fire standard, range 36, heavy D6. So, gosh, nasty weapon. Now 1d6 is a bit unreliable. You start getting 3 in a unit, 6 in a unit, 9 in a unit, you'll be kicking out a ton of shots. Strength 7 -3, 1 damage. It's an infantry killer. And you can supercharge So you can go after any other kind of heavy targets. So these, again, it's heavy D6. Range 36, brilliant range. Strength 8, -3, 2 damage. And he rolls a 1, the bearer is slain. So be careful for ones coming through, which is quite likely with the number of shots that you could potentially get for that unit. But that's the options there. Deadly firepower, but you do pay a premium rate for it for sure. And then the Phosphor Blaster is another 6 points. So you're starting to get an expensive unit here. But the Phosphor Blaster gives you range 24, rapid fire 1, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. Units attacked by this weapon do not gain any bonus saving throws for being covered. So a little bit extra firepower there. So any model may replace its plasma culverant with a heavy grav cannon. The heavy grav cannon's 24 points, took a points reduction for Chapter Approved 2019. Still, it's a premium cost for sure. The heavy grav cannon is range 30, heavy 5, so guaranteed 5 shots a time. So that's a lot of shots. Strength 5, -3, 1 damage. If the target has a save characteristic of 3+ or better, this weapon has a damage characteristic of D3. But the heavy grav cannon, it's a nasty weapon. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not going to write off any of these options. I've gone for the cheaper option just to bolster my infantry and to provide some steady firepower. But if you really need some kind of nasty unit to dish out a lot of shots and a lot of damage, then the destroyers for sure can deliver that. I mean, the firepower is fantastic. It's terrifyingly good. But again, you do pay the points for it. And then you can replace the Phosphor Blaster with a Cognis Flamer. That may be a little bit short range support, a bit of Overwatch protection if you need it. So an extra 7 points on top of that, and the Cognis Flamer gives you range 8, assault D6, strength 4, AP -0, 1 damage, auto hits on the target, and then additionally firing Overwatch, roll 2 dice, determine how many attacks it makes, and discard the lowest results. So very reliable on Overwatch, decent protection if you feel you need it to protect them. So that's the option there. Okay. So, you know, by no means am I going to say all these are useless, it's just that I've chosen the role that these can offer. A bit more resilient, decent enough firepower, and way cheaper in points. So I would have had to drop a lot more stuff if I was to go for a heavy loadout with the destroyer. See, I have the Onager Dreamcrawlers kicking out all their firepower. I have these, I've got the Knights, so I'm pretty good for heavy firepower. But if you're lacking that, then consider one of the loadouts that's available from the Kataphron destroyers. So, as ways to enhance, that's just standard stat lines here and what you could get. Ways to enhance that, I've already mentioned. Canticles, trying to get Shroud Psalm to protect these, just to boost their armor save if possible. Then the other option you can go for, this is a configuration I go for. I'm going to try and get them to hang around with this guy, Belisarius Call. If you don't have him, then you can have them hang around with the Tech Priest Dominus. So if you've got a Tech Priest Dominus, he's going to grant reroll 1s to the hit rolls. Lord of the Machine Cult, you can reroll failed hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase. So 4+ to hit, rerolling 1s, just helps out a little bit with the firepower. And then he's got Master of Machines, he can restore D3 wounds as well. And these are 3 wound models, so the ability to restore wounds is excellent. So Tech Priest Dominus is very useful. But Belisarius Call is way better. You've got the ability to restore wounds, and you've got Lord of Mars. You can reroll failed hit rolls in the shooting phase. You can reroll any hit rolls in the shooting phase for any Mars units whilst within 6. So, just double check. Cult Mechanicus, Forge World, yeah. So you can, if you have Mars, which is the Forge World that I go for, then you get your reroll hit rolls in the shooting phase. And that's, you know, you do all your rerolls before all your modifiers and so on. So anything you know is going to turn into a miss after the modifiers are applied, you can choose to reroll that as well. So that makes his ability for rerolling that much better. So very useful for sure. So the firepower's way more accurate. You're getting much more value for the points you've paid for having him nearby. And I just keep him. You've got a gun line, Dream Crawlers at the back. Now I've got the option to have these. at the front to offer a bit of resilience, another target for the opponent to deal with, a bit of melee ability as well. They can fight in close combat like a wall of protection, and in between Belisarius Call, just granting rerolls for everything. Is a great combo to go for. And Admech with their firepower can match the best of factions out there. So, and the idea is because they can, there's invuln saves and they can restore wounds and so on, and larger units can take the hit that comes back as well. You know, the counter fire that comes back, they can take it pretty good as well. And you know, this is a cheap unit, 180 points, so very good for sure. So just trying to think of ways that you can improve the units. The other one is to go for a Servitor Maniple from the Vigilus book. It's a specialist detachment, just costs you 1 command point. Use your strategy when choosing your army, pick an Admech detachment from your army to be a Servitor Maniple specialist detachment. So you've got a battalion, which I'll run here. I'll pay a command point to turn it into a Servitor Maniple detachment. Tech Priests, Tech Priest Dominus, Engine Seers, Kataphron Breachers, Destroyers and Servitors gain the Servitor Maniple keywords. It's not all the units, just those ones specifically. You then can take a Warlord trait, which is Master of Biosplicing, and I now take this one for my new list. At the end of the movement phase, you can pick a unit of Servitors from your army. Cheap unit, you know, 20 points, unit 4, just hide them away, keep them nearby. So the way this works, at the end of your movement phase, you can pick a unit of Servitors from your army within 6 of your Warlord. You've got to keep them together. And unit of Kataphron Breachers or Kataphron Destroyers from your army within 6 inches of your Warlord. So I have a Tech Priest Dominus, make him the Warlord, give him the Master of Biosplicing, and then have the Servitors nearby. So let me just show you here from the box the way it looks. So there's Tech Priest Dominus, he's the Warlord. And then I've just painted up a unit of Servitors. There's 2 of them. Usually try and keep them hidden away somewhere behind cover, protected. And there's the other 2. So you maybe have those at the back or behind cover out of the way, and you have him just keeping everyone within 6 inches of each other. So Servitors from your army within 6 inches of your Warlord, and unit Kataphron Breachers or Destroyers from your army within 6 inches of your Warlord. So Servitor's got to be within 6 inches of him, he has to be within 6 inches of those in turn. One model from the unit Servitors is immediately slain. A model in that unit Kataphron Breachers or Kataphron Destroyers then regains D3 lost wounds. Remember, he's already able to restore D3 wounds anyway, so there's another opportunity to do that. Or, if there are no wounded models in the unit, and any models in the unit have been slain, you can return 1 slain model to the unit with 1 wound remaining. This model is set up in unit coherency. So it's a great fun ability here. You're just restoring dead models to play. And played a game recently and it just worked like a dream. It was really good, and it actually stopped the unit from being wiped out. Managed to actually restore a few models to play, and that kept them from being wiped out entirely. So very, very useful and great fun. I mean, it's so cool, the ability to do that. There's a relic there, but then you've got these stratagems. Enhanced Bionics, 1 command point. Use stratagem before the battle begins. You can pick a unit of Servitor Maniple, Kataphron Breachers or Destroyers. You get a 5+ invuln save. 6+ invuln save boosts it to a 5+. That's going to be for close combat or for shooting. It's another, just 1 command point, and you can boost them up to a 5+. So I would think I'd usually do that. New Spheric Mind Block, 1 command point. Use a stratagem at the start of the shooting phase. Pick a unit of Servitor Maniple, Breachers or Destroyers within 6 inches of a friendly Servitor Maniple Tech Priest Dominus. Again, that's that encouraging to go for that combo. +1 to the hit rolls for attacks made by that unit to the end of the phase. And the phase is the shooting phase, so +1 if you're shooting. It's now all of a sudden, just for Tech Priest Dominus, 3+ to hit for shooting, rerolling 1s. And that is very, very reliable. If you've got Belisarius Call nearby, then 3+ to hit, rerolling everything. So all of a sudden, you're able to take a decent enough unit and just enhance it and make it really good. So that's highly recommended, very popular with Admech players. I was encouraged to do it. People on the Plus channel were saying, I was revamping the list, they said try and introduce the Servitor Maniple. It's great fun, and it is, and I think it's a good combo. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to line up a few scenarios here just to give you an idea of how these work. So it's going to be 6 models, it's going to be 12 shots with a heavy arc rifle. Let's say there's no upgrades to them at all so far. It's just going to be straight 4 pluses to hit. So going against a Rhino, just standard vehicle here. Try and knock the wounds down this thing. So immediately you can see a problem, and that is you're getting a lot of misses with your shooting, and that's really expected. 5s to wound against vehicles. Managed to get 2. 5s to save. Nope, and it's against the vehicle. It's going to be 2d6 damage, which isn't bad. And that's 9 wounds. So they've made a real mess of that Rhino. And that's just the first round of shooting. Hoping for them to dish out damage every turn, just keep surviving, kicking out those kind of shots. So remember, it's a cheap unit. I'm not expecting them to work wonders. That's a particularly good volley. Not so good with the wounds. 2 have made it through. And 1 saves, just 1d6 damage. And it's, again, 5 wounds, not bad. Pretty good. So grinding away. And you know, I've got this unit, not expecting them to destroy whole targets, but just to keep kicking out that firepower. And that's 2 shots, even at their maximum range, range 36, they're still going to get it. So that's average firepower. If we introduce this guy, forced to hit re-rolling 1s, it's going to help a little bit. There's triple 1. So that's generated an extra 2 hits. That really has helped. Just helps just a little bit more, just to push up your average. Trying to get more 5s and 6s to wound. Just the 1 comes through, and it's not saved, and it's going to be d6. 6 damage. d6 damage is a bit scary against vehicles. Go for another volley. Reroll these 1s. Doesn't help. Quite poor. And 2 wounds do come through though, which is good. And 1 save. Again, d6 damage. 6 damage. So again, just grinding away at the Rhino. Now, I'd say it's heavy infantry we're going after. You know, Chaos Space Marines, for example. Rerolling 1s. Like so. That's actually helped a lot. Now you're on 3s to win. Those come through. 5s to save the infantry. Save 1, and then your damage is going to be d3. So against multiple wound targets, it's going to be particularly useful. Now, introduce Belisarius Call. I'll put him in. So forced to hit, rerolling everything. Just take all the misses, and it's like you get a second go. So we'll have another go, and then all those hits come through. And you know, this is the way I'm usually running these with Belisarius Call. And look, he's got a ton of hits. And it's helped generate a few more wounds coming through. So 3 wounds. This Rhino will be in trouble if it doesn't block. Nope, it doesn't. And 3d6 damage is target destroyed. So immediately it's made a difference. So we'll go again. Forced to hit. Usually a poor round of shooting, but we get a second chance here with Belisarius Call. Just the 1. And then 5s to wound. Yeah, 2 make it through. No saves, 2d6 damage. Double 1. Okay. We'll play the stratagem. So sometimes you'll see Belisarius Call and him. So now that lets me play the stratagem, Nuciferic Mind Lock, or enhanced, Nuciferic Mind Lock. Grant them a 3+ to hit, but rerolling everything with Belisarius Call. 3s to hit. Only a couple miss, makes such a difference. Rerolling both of them. They've all hit. I think this has demonstrated nicely for you the difference. Now it's 5s to wound with all of the dice, and all of a sudden, if you've got 5 wounds, I've made it through. Opponent's block 1, 4d6 damage, and that's the kind of results which will take vehicles out. So, you know, I haven't paid any more points here. Same configuration, same loadout, but just the positioning of characters and a stratagem just to help out. That's amplified the effectiveness of this unit, and that's the lower end of the spectrum. I've picked a unit that's the cheaper option and the lower impact firepower. So you can imagine amplifying that with the heavier weaponry that's available. If you're willing to pay the points, then you know all those bonuses apply as well. So I hope that's giving you an idea of how these can work. With AdMech, I suppose of all the factions, it's about units that can give buffs and bonuses, but particularly for these, they do need a little bit of help. A flat 4 to hit is not that great, so you do need to get some kind buffs going on with characters that can help out, and the benefits are fantastic. You get the servitor maniple formation, you're able to restore wounds with this model, restore more wounds with the Master of Biosplicing, or even swap these out and resurrect some of these to keep them in play. It is particularly useful. Tried it in one game, it has been very useful for sure. And then the benefits for improving the ballistic skill for these, just to help them out also. But a very solid troops choice for your AdMech force for sure. So that's the video. Hope it's been a help. Check out the comment section for comments from other AdMech players. What's your best combinations, tactics and so on, unit size, configuration, loadouts and so on. Then if you're an experienced AdMech player, leave that in the comment section below. If you're looking for more advice and to hear what other AdMech players have to say, then check out those comments below and see what everyone says. Painting tutorial here on YouTube if you like the red colour scheme, and then the in-depth painting tutorial is available on the Plus channel as well. But there it is, that's the Tactica for the Kataphron Breaches, a welcome addition to my new revamped AdMech list. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.